To build a mind so strong it terrifies people is not about creating fear in others through intimidation, arrogance, or power games. It's about developing such unshakable mental resilience, focus, discipline, and presence that it exposes the weaknesses, insecurities, and excuses of those around you. A mind that powerful forces people to confront their own limitations. It reveals how much more they could be doing, how many excuses they're making, and how often they settle for mediocrity. The strength of your mind, when fully developed, becomes a mirror to everyone else, and not everyone is ready to face their reflection. To get to that level of mental strength, you must decide right now that the current version of you is not enough, not because you're weak, but because you know you're capable of more. The first step to building that terrifying mind is becoming obsessed with growth. You must crave self-improvement like oxygen. You must study yourself like a warrior preparing for battle, relentlessly analyzing your thoughts, your triggers, your habits, and your beliefs. You have to become uncomfortable with comfort. You have to train your mind to go where others retreat. While the world avoids pain, you must seek it. While others run from failure, you must sprint toward it. Because every moment of adversity is sharpening you, carving you, forging you into something rare. A strong mind doesn't get built by accident. It's not gifted at birth. It's not found in books alone. It's earned through discipline, hardship, solitude, and an unwavering refusal to quit. When most people think of strength, they imagine muscles and power. But mental strength is far more fearsome. It's the ability to keep your composure when chaos erupts. It's remaining silent when provoked. It's smiling when doubted. It's planning when others panic. It's the calm in your soul when everything outside of you is screaming for attention. It's the ability to sit in silence, in pain, in fear, and still act with clarity and purpose. The world is full of people who crumble at the first sign of resistance. They flinch when criticized. They abandon dreams when mocked. They change their course when rejected. But the mind you're going to build will not be like that. You're going to develop a mind so focused that it unnerves people, a mind so calm that it disarms chaos, a mind so powerful that it turns obstacles into fuel and adversity into art. The foundation of that mind is forged in your habits. If your daily habits are weak, your mind will be weak. If your routines are filled with distractions, comforts, and emotional indulgence, you'll remain average. But if you construct your days with discipline, challenge, learning, and reflection, your mind will evolve into something most people have never seen. Every day is a test, and the stakes are your potential. You either pass by moving closer to your strongest self, or you fail by retreating into old patterns. Do not underestimate the power of compounding discipline. One hard decision each day multiplies into something enormous over time. One uncomfortable conversation, one extra rep, 1 hour of reading instead of scrolling. These are the bricks that build an unstoppable mind. While others waste hours numbing themselves with cheap entertainment and endless noise, you will be sharpening your mind with focus, knowledge, and reflection. You must become intimately familiar with solitude. A strong mind is not built in the crowd. It's built in silence. It's built in late nights when no one is watching. It's built in early mornings when your body says sleep, but your vision says rise. In those lonely moments when there's no applause, no encouragement, no validation, those are the proving grounds. That's when the weak give up and the relentless get better. A terrifying mind is forged when you learn to thrive without external validation. You must break the addiction to being liked, being seen, being praised. You must learn to operate in silence and let your results make the noise. Start developing mental habits that most people ignore. Learn to delay gratification. Train yourself to sit with boredom without reaching for distraction. Practice saying no to things that offer short-term pleasure and long-term weakness. Build the ability to do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. That's the secret. Feelings follow action. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll never act. If you wait until you're motivated, you'll never start. But if you act anyway, discipline grows, and so does your mental power. Read, think, reflect, write, meditate, repeat, these are weapons. When you feed your mind with quality information, it begins to see patterns others miss. When you quiet your mind regularly, you gain control over your reactions. When you reflect deeply, you see the truth of your behavior. These are not soft skills. These are lethal advantages. A distracted mind is easy to manipulate, easy to discourage, easy to break. But a trained, focused mind, that's a different beast. It becomes immune to criticism, resistant to stress, and calm under pressure. Start confronting your fears head on. Don't run, don't delay, don't avoid. Meet them with courage, because fear is the forge of mental strength. Each time you face it, your mind expands. The things that once terrified you will become irrelevant. You'll stop flinching. You'll stop doubting. You'll stop shrinking yourself. Most people stay small because they've never faced what scares them. But once you do, and once you win, something changes. You stop asking for permission. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You start walking with a presence that turns heads. You must stop negotiating with your potential. You either commit or you don't. You either go all in or you stay average. There is no in between. Your dreams don't care how you feel. Your goals don't care how hard it is. Success doesn't care how tired you are. The only thing that matters is whether you keep moving forward. A strong mind doesn't entertain excuses. It eliminates them. While others rationalize their lack of progress, you must hold yourself to a higher standard. Ruthlessly honest, relentlessly focused, unapologetically disciplined, be so committed to mastering your mind that it becomes your identity. People should feel something different when they talk to you. Not because you speak louder, but because your presence is grounded. Not because you show off, but because you radiate calm, certainty, and control. That's what scares people. That's what makes your mind a force. When the average person sees someone who won't be shaken, won't be rushed, and won't be manipulated, they don't know what to do. It exposes them. It threatens their comfort. It forces them to either step up or back down. Every time you face hardship, remind yourself, this is where the strong are separated from the weak. This is where most people fold, but not you. This is where you dig deeper. When the stress rises, you slow down. When the pressure builds, you breathe. When the noise gets louder, you find silence. That's mental dominance. That's psychological warfare, and you win it by mastering yourself. No one can beat the person who refuses to quit. No one can outlast the person who finds strength in pain. No one can manipulate the person who knows who they are and where they're going. Cut out everything that weakens your mind. Remove the drama, the gossip, the distractions, and the people who don't challenge you. Guard your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. Weak surroundings produce weak minds. If you hang around quitters, you'll start quitting. If you surround yourself with victims, you'll start blaming. But if you align yourself with killers, people who push limits, chase growth, and embrace discomfort, your standards will rise. That's how you build a terrifying mind. You elevate your expectations. You hold yourself accountable. You live in reality, not fantasy. Don't confuse kindness with weakness. A strong mind is not cruel. It's just uncompromising. You can be humble and still dominate. You can be respectful and still unbreakable. You can love others and still refuse to be walked on. Mental strength is not loud or angry. It's firm, clear, and rooted. You don't need to shout to make an impact. You don't need to prove anything. The real power is when you don't react to disrespect because you know it doesn't touch you. The real power is when you don't crumble under pressure because you've trained for it. The real power is when you keep showing up, especially on the days you don't feel like it. You have to become dangerous, not to others, but to your limitations. Be dangerous to laziness. Be dangerous to procrastination. Be dangerous to excuses. Be dangerous to fear. That kind of mental weaponry changes everything. When you walk into a room with that energy, people feel it. They can't quite describe it, but they sense something unshakable. That's what a terrifying mind does. It commands respect without asking for it. You'll be misunderstood, you'll be doubted, you'll be judged. Let them stay locked in. Your mind is your kingdom, and you are the ruler. Guard it, build it, strengthen it. Every single day is a battle. Every day is an opportunity to either expand or shrink. Choose expansion. Choose pressure. Choose to keep going when everything inside you screams to stop. That's where your greatness lies, on the other side of discomfort. The path is not easy, it never will be, but it's simple. Show up, do the hard thing, don't complain, don't quit, don't settle. Do that long enough and something extraordinary happens. You become the kind of person who intimidates weakness. You become the kind of person who walks into the storm without flinching. You become the kind of person who builds a mind so strong it terrifies people, not because you aim to, but because most people have never seen that kind of power up close. You must understand something essential. Most people live their entire lives protecting their comfort, not expanding their strength. They build walls of distraction, of excuses, of fake confidence just to shield themselves from the truth. Their minds are fragile, their beliefs are borrowed, their discipline is fake, their ambition is conditional. But you're different, or you're choosing to be. You're choosing the rare path of internal warfare. You're choosing to confront everything within you that's soft, reactive, dependent, and average. You are not merely chasing success. You're hunting the version of yourself that few ever meet. You want to know how to build a mind so strong it terrifies people. Starve your weaknesses. Every time you catch yourself complaining, stop. Every time you find yourself scrolling, wasting, avoiding, cut it off, replace it. Turn dead time into development. Replace entertainment with education. Replace reaction with strategy. Replace emotions with action. Replace chaos with control. You are the sculptor of your own mental power. Nothing about your future is accidental. Nothing about strength is gifted. Everything about greatness is engineered, day by day, brick by brick. You need to develop the ability to act without applause, build without recognition, win without validation. The most terrifying minds are those that operate independently. They're not fueled by what others think. They're fueled by vision, by principle, by self-respect. Every time you do something hard without needing anyone to notice, your mind becomes more self-reliant. And that is the ultimate power, to live without needing permission. This is the age of distraction, the age of dopamine addiction, the age of comfort and convenience. So if you can become the rare individual who still embraces hardship, who still seeks solitude, who still reads, trains, thinks, and reflects, you become a weapon. A focused human being in an unfocused world is unstoppable. When others run from responsibility, you take it. When others avoid truth, you face it. When others drift, you direct, and in doing so, your mind separates from the pack. People will begin to notice something different about you. They won't know what it is at first, but it will bother them. Your calm will expose their chaos. Your presence will reveal their absence. Your focus will make their distractions feel uncomfortable. And that's the point. You are not here to fit in. You are not here to be liked by the masses. You are here to build something so rare within yourself that people either rise to meet you or fall back in fear. Not fear of you, but fear of what you remind them they could be if they stopped lying to themselves. That's what a strong mind does. It's a spotlight on other people's mediocrity. That's why it's feared. That's why it's respected. But never get it twisted. Mental strength doesn't mean perfection. It means you never give up on the pursuit of higher standards. You will stumble, you will fall short, you will fail. But you will never break, because failure is not final for those who rise. You will study your mistakes like a scientist. You will correct, adapt, and grow. You won't attach your worth to temporary setbacks. You'll see them as tests, and pass them. Each scar becomes part of your armor. Each setback sharpens your mind, each lesson becomes another layer of mental steel, Eventually, your energy will change, your tone will change. Your posture, your eye contact, your decisions, they'll all begin to reflect someone who cannot be moved. You won't chase things anymore, you'll attract them. You won't seek approval, you'll embody authority. You won't react to life, you'll command it. That's what mental strength does. It reverses the dynamic. Life no longer happens to you. You happen to life. This isn't just about motivation. This is about transformation. This is about becoming the kind of individual that makes excuses feel foolish in your presence. The kind of individual whose standards elevate everyone around them. The kind of individual who walks into a room and shifts the atmosphere. Why? Because when you've mastered your mind, everything changes. You're no longer a slave to emotion, impulse, or external noise. You operate from a place of centered clarity. You know who you are. You know what you want. And you refuse to compromise. That's intimidating to the average. That's terrifying to the weak. That's threatening to the manipulative. But it's inspiring to the hungry. And that's who you're doing this for, not to scare people into silence, but to wake people into action. A strong mind is not the final destination, it's the foundation. It's the platform upon which you build a life of power, meaning, and impact. And make no mistake, the world needs more of that. We need fewer reactors and more leaders, fewer victims and more warriors, fewer talkers and more doers, and it all starts with the mind. If you control your mind, you control your destiny. If your mind is sharp, everything becomes clear. If your mind is disciplined, everything becomes possible. And as you walk further down this path, you will begin to realize something even more profound. Mental strength doesn't just change how others see you. It transforms how you see everything. You'll stop perceiving life through the lens of limitation. You'll begin to recognize challenges as catalysts. You'll learn to respect pain as a teacher, not an enemy. You'll stop asking, why me, and start declaring, try me, because you'll know, deeply and unshakably, that you were built to endure, adapt, and rise. The stronger your mind becomes, the more expansive your world gets. The things that once felt impossible will feel inevitable. A terrifying mind is one that has divorced itself from the need to be coddled. It no longer needs to be rescued. It no longer waits for the world to give it permission. It doesn't depend on luck, sympathy, or perfect timing. It creates, it executes. It moves forward with or without applause. That's why people fear it. It's completely independent, and that kind of independence is rare. It can't be bought. It can't be faked. It can't be inherited. It's earned, and you'll feel that shift too. You'll notice the difference when your emotions flare up but don't control you. When criticism comes but doesn't shake you. When the unknown stares you down and you walk into it anyway. That's not ego. That's inner power. It's the quiet confidence that comes from hours, days, and years of doing what others refuse to do. And as your confidence builds, not from hype but from truth, you start to make bolder moves. You take risks others avoid. You speak when others remain silent. You lead where others wait for direction. You must remember, though, that this strength is not for display, it's for service. A powerful mind, if used selfishly, becomes a weapon of destruction. But a powerful mind used selflessly, that becomes a force for elevation. When you've built yourself into something solid, unshakable, and wise, you begin to lift others just by existing. You inspire without preaching. You empower without controlling. You influence without manipulating. That's the highest form of strength. A mind that doesn't need to dominate to lead. A mind so strong, so grounded, so disciplined that people feel stronger simply by being around you. But to reach that level, you must get very real with yourself. You must stop lying to yourself about your effort, your discipline, your excuses. You must confront the parts of you that are still soft, still reactive, still addicted to comfort. You must be brutally honest about where you're falling short, and then do the hard work to fix it. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to force you to evolve. This is your burden and your blessing. Most people will spend their entire lives avoiding this level of accountability. It's easier to blame, easier to wait, easier to shrink, but you didn't come this far to play small. You didn't survive everything you've survived just to coast through life on autopilot. You are here to break cycles, to raise standards, to become someone your younger self could be proud of, and your future self could rely on. This journey will test every part of you. It will test your patience, your endurance, your resilience. It will ask for sacrifices, it will ask for discipline, but it will also give you something priceless, peace, not the fragile peace that depends on circumstances being perfect, but the unbreakable peace that comes from knowing you are prepared, that no matter what happens, you have trained your mind to respond with clarity, not chaos, with action, not panic, with purpose, not fear, and that peace, that inner fortitude, that mental armor, that's what people feel when they look at you. That's what makes them hesitate second, guess, question themselves, because you're not just another person. You are a presence. You carry the weight of someone who has faced themselves in the mirror and didn't blink. That kind of presence can't be replicated. It can only be earned through pain, perseverance, and profound self-mastery. Keep going even when it's boring, especially when it's boring. That's where true strength is built, not in the highlight reels, but in the dull, thankless repetitions of discipline, the early wake-ups, the silent study sessions, the lonely workouts, the nights you say no to comfort so you can say yes to excellence. Every one of those moments stacks, every one of them compounds, every one of them is a vote for the strongest version of you. And eventually, that version of you will walk into the world. They'll speak differently, think differently, move differently. They won't seek validation. They won't chase acceptance. They won't flinch under pressure, and when others see you, they'll either be inspired or intimidated. That's not your problem. That's just the side effect of walking with power. But remember, this mind you're building is not a trophy. It's a tool. A terrifying mind is only as valuable as the mission it serves, so use it to build. Use it to serve, use it to lead. Let it be a force for light, even if its strength casts shadows. Be firm but fair, be powerful but kind, be disciplined but compassionate. Be unshakable but always growing. Never stop sharpening your mind. Never stop questioning your beliefs. Never stop evolving your standards. And never let the noise of the world drown out the voice within you that knows. You are meant for more. That voice is your guide. That voice is your truth. Honor it, trust it, and let it drive you to become the kind of person who doesn't just survive adversity, but commands it, transforms it, and rises through it. You earned it, not with shortcuts, not with luck, but with intention. You built yourself from the inside out. You laid each brick with discipline, with awareness, with sacrifice, and now your strength speaks before you even open your mouth. That is the mark of someone who has mastered their inner world. That is what terrifies people, not aggression, not loudness, not arrogance, but stillness, calm, control, because in a world addicted to chaos, nothing is more unsettling than someone who cannot be shaken. You will notice the further you go on this path, the more distant you'll feel from the average crowd, not because you're better than them, but because you've simply chosen to operate differently. You'll start to feel out of place in environments where gossip is normal. You'll feel disconnected in conversations full of blame, distraction, and superficial thinking. That's not a sign that you're becoming arrogant. That's a sign that your mind is evolving, that you're beginning to crave depth, discipline, direction. And yes, it can feel lonely, but it's in that solitude that true power is formed. The greatest minds in history spent years, even decades, in obscurity, studying, building, refining, preparing. They weren't chasing followers or fame. They were chasing mastery. They were shaping themselves into something undeniable. And when the time came, they didn't rise to the occasion. They revealed what they had already become. That's what you're doing now. You're not preparing to impress. You're preparing to lead. You're preparing to stand unshaken when the pressure mounts, when the lights are brightest, when the stakes are highest. And here's something most won't tell you. the stronger your mind becomes, the more responsibility you'll carry. That's the price of power. It's not glory, it's service. You'll be expected to hold your composure when others lose theirs. You'll be called to make decisions when others are frozen by fear. You'll be the one people look to when chaos strikes. And you must be ready, not because you crave authority, but because you've trained yourself to respond with wisdom, not emotion. So don't train for applause, train for the moments that truly matter, train for the storms, for the betrayals, for the losses. Train for the days when your name is dragged through the mud. Train for the nights when doubt knocks loudest, because that's when your mind will prove its worth. That's when all those early mornings, late nights, and silent battles will come to light. And when they do, people will either hate you or follow you. Some will call you intimidating. Others will call you dangerous, but the ones who are ready will call you necessary. You won't need to demand respect. It will come naturally, because people respect those who have earned themselves, who have put in the inner work, who have forged character, not just image. That's what this is about, not being feared for fear's sake, but becoming so unshakable that you force the world to recalibrate when you enter. You don't have to announce your strength. Let it show in your decisions. Let it show in your discipline. Let it show in how you carry yourself when everything is falling apart. That's when true power reveals itself, not in domination, but in calm under pressure. Not in control of others, but in control of self. That's the kind of power no one can take from you. That's the kind of strength that creates legends. But remember, this path demands everything. It's not part-time. It's not seasonal. It's not something you can fake for a few hours a day. It's full-time. It's every choice you make, every word you speak, every thought you allow to live rent-free in your head. You must treat your mind like sacred ground. Because once you allow weakness in, it multiplies. Once you entertain excuses, they take root. Once you lower your standard, it becomes the new baseline. So protect your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Your future, your impact, your peace, your legacy, they all flow from the strength of your thinking. And your thinking must be intentional, disciplined, focused. You must audit your inputs relentlessly. What you watch, what you read, who you allow into your space. Weak minds are built by passive consumption. Strong minds are built by selective digestion. Feed your mind only what aligns with your purpose. Only what sharpens your focus. Only what fuels your vision, and your vision. That's everything. Without vision, the strongest mind has no direction. So define it clearly. What are you building? Who are you becoming? What legacy are you willing to suffer for? Because suffering without purpose leads to defeat. But suffering with purpose, that leads to dominance. So choose your pain wisely. Don't run from discomfort. Run toward it with a reason. Let that reason be bigger than your pride, bigger than your fear, bigger than your past. Leave it when no one is watching. Leave it when everyone doubts you. Leave it when it's hard, when it's boring, when it doesn't seem like it's paying off. Because that's when the real gains are made. That's when your mind is being hardened, not by easy wins, but by unwavering commitment. This kind of strength, this terrifying clarity and presence isn't built in the light. It's built in the shadows, in the silence, in the spaces where no one claps for you, where no one understands you, where the only thing keeping you moving is your own unbreakable decision to become something more. You have to get comfortable being misunderstood, comfortable being underestimated, comfortable being alone in your pursuit of something higher. Weak minds seek approval. Strong minds walk alone if that's what growth demands. You'll outgrow people. You'll outgrow old habits. You'll even outgrow parts of yourself. Let them go. You don't need who you used to be to become who you were meant to be. Shedding your old skin is not loss. It's liberation. There will be days when the world tries to drag you back into mediocrity, into distraction, into comfort. Fight it. You've come too far. You've worked too hard to slip into the fog again. You've tasted clarity. You've felt what it means to have direction. Hold the line even when your motivation fades. Hold the line with discipline. Even when the results take time, hold the line with patience. Even when the world screams at you to stop, hold the line with purpose. Because a terrifying mind is not explosive, it's consistent. It's not built through rare acts of greatness, but through regular acts of self-respect. Every early morning, every cold shower, every brutal workout, every disciplined choice, it all adds up. Not to some shallow image of strength, but to real, rooted, undeniable presence, the kind that doesn't waver, the kind that bends reality, the kind that builds empires, not out of arrogance, but out of focus, vision, and sheer mental toughness. One day, the things you struggled with will seem small. The voices of doubt, both internal and external, will grow silent. You'll have become the proof of what's possible. You'll have transformed your pain into power, your isolation into insight, your hardship into humility. And by then, people will no longer just be intimidated, they'll be inspired. They'll see in you what they never found in themselves, evidence that strength is a choice. And when that happens, when the world starts to notice, don't let it distract you. Stay humble, stay dangerous, stay grounded in what got you there: discipline, vision, work. Don't start to believe the hype. Don't soften because the applause got louder. The moment you start building your identity around recognition is the moment you begin to lose the fire that built you. Keep going, keep sharpening, because the mind you're building isn't just for you. It's for every person who needs to be reminded that they don't have to stay stuck, that they don't have to accept mediocrity, that they don't have to be victims of their own mind, that they can rise, that they can choose strength, be the example, be the standard, be the one who didn't quit, be the one who refused to be average. You become free, not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because your mind is no longer chained by fear, doubt, or weakness. You've broken the cycle. You've refused to be ordinary. You've chosen the harder road, the lonelier road, the road that demanded more than anyone else was willing to give. And because of that, you walk differently. You speak with more weight. You carry yourself with a quiet dominance that says, I've been through fire, and I built something out of it. That's the kind of freedom most people will never know. They chase freedom by avoiding pain, but you've discovered that real freedom comes by facing it head on. They search for strength in status, in possessions, in image, but you found it in the deepest corners of your own will. And when you found it, you realized that nothing external can shake a mind that is anchored in self, mastery. Understand this: you will never be like most people again. You won't look at the world the same. You won't move the same. You won't break down when things get hard. You'll rise. You won't complain when the load gets heavy. You'll carry it, because you know something they don't. Strength is forged in struggle, and the mind that welcomes resistance becomes unstoppable. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them doubt you. That's not your burden to carry. Your burden is your standard. Your burden is your vision. Your burden is your commitment to greatness when no one else is watching. And yes, there will be moments when you're exhausted, moments when you question if it's worth it. In those moments, remember, this path was never meant to be easy. It was meant to be earned. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you earn it. Every time you choose focus over comfort, you earn it. Every time you keep pushing when the world says stop, you earn it. And the more you earn it, the more unshakable you become. Soon, people will come to you, not just to praise your strength, but to ask how you built it. They'll want the blueprint, they'll want the formula, but here's the truth they won't want to hear: there is no shortcut, no hack, no easy path. You build a terrifying mind through repetition, suffering, growth, and unwavering standards. You build it by doing what most people refuse to do, for longer than they can even imagine, and the cost, it's high. You'll lose friends, you'll be misunderstood, you'll walk alone more times than you can count. But the reward is everything: peace, power, purpose, and the kind of presence that changes rooms, breaks patterns, and rewrites expectations. That's the goal. Not just to be feared, but to be felt. Not just to look strong, but to be strong. Not just to impress people, but to inspire them. Not through speeches, but through example, through action, through undeniable energy. You were never meant to be average. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to rise, to lead, to dominate. Not others, but your own mind, and in doing so, you give permission for others to rise too. That is your mission. That is your legacy. That is the power of a terrifying mind. So keep building, keep sharpening, keep rising, because when the world tries to define you, you won't even flinch. You'll just smile and keep walking forward, unshaken. Unbothered, unstoppable, you earned it. Do not underestimate your potential. Do not sell your future for the comfort of today. You are capable of developing a mind that redefines what's possible. You are capable of becoming a force. But it requires the decision to go all in. Not sometimes, not when it's easy. Every day, through every storm, through every setback, through every season of doubt. Eventually, people will ask you how you did it. How you became so calm, so powerful, so focused, and you'll smile because they'll never truly understand the miles you walked in silence. The days you wanted to quit but didn't. The nights you doubted everything but still kept going. The moments you chose growth when it would have been easier to numb yourself. That's the part they'll never see, but that's the part that made you unstoppable.